If you're Vietnamese and work in a big city far from your hometown, you're definitely familiar with this scene. You climb onto a sleeper bus, settle into a cozy little bunk, pull the curtain, listen to the hum of the engine, and drift off to sleep, waking up at home. From Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City, from Da Lat to Can Tho, from Lao Cai to countless other destinations, sleeper buses are a lifesaver for long journeys. And in China, back in the 2000s, these buses were also number one, but then they vanished. Why did that happen? To understand why China got rid of sleeper buses, let's rewind to the 1990s and early 2000s. At that time, China was experiencing an economic boom. Highways for cars were being built everywhere, but high-speed rail for trains, like what exists today, was still limited. Flying was very expensive, reserved only for the wealthy. So, if you wanted to travel from Beijing to Guangzhou, or from Shanghai to Chengdu, the sleeper bus was your true love, especially suitable for migrant workers in a country with a population of billions, like China. Just like in Vietnam, these buses were often double-deckers, carrying 40 to 50 people, or even more. You'd spend a bit of money, climb aboard, find a comfortable bunk, pull the curtain, lie down, relax, and sleep until you arrived. These buses often ran at night, saving time, especially on long routes stretching thousands of miles. During their peak, sleeper buses crisscrossed China. But life isn't always like a dream, and reality wasn't as beautiful as those dreams on sleeper buses. Behind the convenience lay many unforeseen problems, and these problems led China to take action and eliminate sleeper buses. Have you ever laid down on a bus and wondered if it was safe? In China, the answer wasn't always yes. In the early 2010s, China suffered a series of horrific accidents involving sleeper buses. On average, there were more than 10 major accidents a year, meaning almost one major accident per month. The buses had low chassis, stacked bunks, narrow aisles, and few emergency exits. Whenever there was an accident, people would inevitably get trapped inside and couldn't escape. Dozens of people crammed into a confined space with the potential for horrific fires and explosions. In reality, many tragic accidents occurred where victims died mainly because they couldn't escape. One of the most haunting incidents happened in August 2012 on a highway in Shanxi province. A double-decker sleeper bus crashed into a truck carrying chemicals. The bus burst into flames, and 36 people perished. The whole of China was shocked. The media and social media, though not as popular as they are now, buzzed with the incident. But why were these accidents so devastating? First, sleeper buses, especially the double-decker type, have a very high center of gravity. When the bus travels at high speed on the highway, or the driver makes a sharp turn, the bus is prone to overturning. And once it overturns, passengers lying on the bunks aren't wearing seatbelts. They're thrown all over the place or trapped in the wreckage. Worse, many buses don't have proper emergency exits, making rescue efforts almost impossible. Second, there's the issue involving people, specifically the drivers. Drivers often lose concentration or become sleepy because sleeper buses usually run at night to save time. Drivers often have to drive continuously, sometimes without rest. Many are forced to drive to meet the schedule, becoming exhausted and losing focus, leading to accidents. Also related to people, the passengers. Passengers almost never wear seatbelts. Who wears a seatbelt when they're sleeping? So, when an accident occurs, there's no way to protect themselves. These accidents weren't just numbers in the news. They were the pain of hundreds of families, a wake-up call that forced the Chinese government to change. And in 2012, after experiencing many major accidents, China decided to address the issue of sleeper buses. But they didn't ban them immediately. They had a plan. First, they banned the production and sale of double-decker sleeper buses starting in early 2012. Large companies were which had been making a lot of money from these buses, had to halt production immediately. There were no new buses, and the existing ones would gradually reach the end of their lifespan. Next, they stopped registering new sleeper buses. This meant that even if you bought a used bus, you couldn't register it to operate legally. Old buses would gradually break down and be phased out, and the number would decrease significantly. In addition, China required all sleeper buses to undergo very strict safety inspections, from brakes and tires to emergency exits. Anything that didn't meet the standards was immediately banned. They also installed GPS tracking devices on the buses to monitor them, ensuring that drivers never drove for more than 6 hours. In many provinces in mountainous areas, China also banned sleeper buses from operating from 2 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock a.m. or during other dangerous hours. These are the hours when drivers are most likely to be drowsy, making accidents more likely. This plan was designed to allow sleeper buses to disappear on their own without the need for a direct ban. The government simply tightened regulations step by step and legalized them. And within 5 to 6 years, they predicted that these buses would vanish. And you know what? They were right. But it wasn't just about accidents and regulations. A major reason why sleeper buses were eliminated was because China had changed its transportation system. People used sleeper buses because they were cheap, fast, and convenient. And now, if there's something more convenient and reasonable, people will switch to it. While tightening regulations on sleeper buses, China invested heavily in other, safer modes of transportation. First, there's the high-speed rail system. China has the largest high-speed rail network in the world, with hundreds of thousands of miles of track, connecting almost all major cities. Traveling from Beijing to Shanghai used to be a pain on sleeper buses, but now it's faster and more comfortable on high-speed trains. Ticket prices are also becoming more affordable, causing sleeper buses to lose their advantage. Then, there were the emergence of low-cost airlines and airports springing up everywhere. Low-cost airlines developed rapidly, and flying was no longer a luxury dream for the wealthy. Many people chose to fly to save time, especially on very long routes, much longer than those covered by high-speed trains. Finally, instead of sleeper buses, transportation companies switched to seated buses with comfortable seats, Wi-Fi, power outlets, and importantly, greater safety for short and medium-distance journeys. Passengers are required to wear seatbelts, reducing the risk in case of an accident. What was the result? Well, from the implementation in 2012 to 2018, which is about 6 years, less than a decade, sleeper buses had almost become extinct in major cities in China. In rural areas, there were still a few scattered buses running until they reached the end of their lifespan. They had to comply with strict regulations. Simply put, the era of sleeper buses was truly over. Those buses have been retired. Now let's go back to Vietnam for a moment, because this story is very relatable to us. If you've ever taken a sleeper bus from Hanoi to Ha Tin and Hue, from Hanoi to Lao Cai, or from Saigon to Da Lat, you definitely understand the feeling of lying on the bus, listening to music, browsing your phone, and falling asleep, only to wake up at your destination. Sleeper buses in Vietnam are still a preferred option for long journeys, especially for students, workers, or those who enjoy the experience. But looking at China, we see some similarities and also some concerns. In Vietnam, sleeper buses are still very popular, especially on long routes of thousands of miles, and many provinces don't have airports. But have you noticed? Sleeper buses here often run at night, and drivers aren't always getting enough rest. Accidents, although not always involving sleeper buses, still occur occasionally. Perhaps you're familiar with these stories. Looking at Ho Chi Minh City, you can also see that Vietnam is starting to take action. The city has banned them during certain hours, and there's even a proposal to ban them 24/7, but it hasn't been approved yet. This shows that Vietnam is also realizing that sleeper buses, although convenient, can cause problems in crowded cities. However, unlike China, Vietnam hasn't banned the production or registration of new sleeper buses. These buses are still running on interprovincial routes. So, what can we learn from China? First, safety is number one. China has proven that no matter how convenient sleeper buses are, if they're not safe, they can become an obsolete mode of transportation. And the story of sleeper buses in China isn't just about vehicles. It's also a story about how a country faces problems and changes, prioritizing safety and being willing to eliminate a mode of transportation to protect people's lives. The accidents from over a decade ago serve as a warning that convenience shouldn't be traded for safety. But it's important to have alternatives. They invested heavily in the future instead of clinging to sleeper buses. They developed high-speed rail, low-cost airlines, and modern seated buses. This not only solved the safety problem, but also provided China with other modes of transportation. The people benefited greatly. Vietnam will have a north-south high-speed railway in the future. And perhaps at that time, sleeper buses will also fade into the past. Thank you for following this story. What do you think about how China solved the problem? Please leave your comments below. If you found it interesting, you can subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share it. And now, I'd like to say goodbye.